Let's turn to the federal election campaign. The Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is in British Columbia today. His arrival in the province last night marked by protesters outside of his Vancouver hotel. Around 150 people gathered to protest old-growth logging in BC's Fairy Creek watershed. Organizers are alleging police brutality at the blockades in and around the Fairy Creek area, which is located on the territory of the Pachidat First Nation. Well, for more, let's go to Ottawa right now. Ashley Burke tracking the campaign for us today. Good morning, Ashley. Talk to us a bit more about what happened last night.
Well, as you just saw, when Liberal leader Justin Trudeau touched down in BC, that's the crowd he was met with outside of his hotel. There were dozens of Indigenous activists who were chanting and drumming and accusing him of genocide, and also saying they were unhappy with his policy on pipelines. Now, Trudeau, his security team ended up deciding that there was a security issue there, so he didn't end up going inside the hotel. He went out for dinner instead until the crowd dispersed. We haven't really seen Trudeau talk explicitly yet during this first week and a half of the opening of the election campaign about reconciliation, something that he has spoken about before. Of course, this has been in the news, making headlines. And some protesters really took issue with it not being a central key theme just yet in the election. Take a listen.
Indigenous issues or reconciliation are now an industry that people can profit off of, whether that's social capital, political capital, or economic capital. And if that's not something that average Canadian voters are talking about, or it doesn't apply to their life, or that they don't see every single day seeing those effects on Indigenous people, of course that's not going to be brought to the forefront of the election cycle.
Now, the Liberals have announced, as part of one of their announcements, $10 million for First Nations on reserve schools. When it comes to other parties, the NDP, they visited the leader, Jagmeet Singh. He visited an Indigenous community during his first week to try to bring the attention back to reconciliation. He had an emotional moment there, and he talked about his commitment to seeking justice on this front. The Bloc has also announced that it's going to, if elected, they would replace the Indian Act. And the Conservatives said on Monday that it has a 6-part plan to respond to the deaths of children at residential schools and sites where they were buried.